Hello everybody. In this video we're going to be going over on how to find the derivative of the function f of x is equal to 8x squared plus 7 cubed. Alright, so we want to find the derivative. So let's look at our function. So notice how we have a function on the inside, this 8x squared plus 7, and this is being surrounded by the cubed. So in this case it looks like we have two separate functions. So we cannot just, the derivative cannot just be the derivative of the inside with the derivative of the outside. So it's not going to be, if you use the power rule, it's not going to be put the 3 over here and then derivative of this is 16x to this 2. That's not it. Alright? Instead, since this is a function inside another function, we have to use a certain rule called the chain rule, okay? The chain rule. And this chain rule is used whenever you have a function inside another function. So this may be written as one function, but notice how there are layers to this function. So I'm going to separate this function here. I'm going to take out this 8x squared plus 7, and I'm going to call it g of x. So g of x is equal to 8x squared plus 7. And then I'm going to, this cubed value here, I'm going to make it its own function. H of x is equal to, I'm going to just say x cubed. And notice how this f of x is basically, it's equal to h of g of x. So this g of x function is inside the x function, giving us our f of x here. And this is where we use the chain rule. So the chain rule states that in the scenario we have an h of x, when h of g of x, when you want to find the derivative of that, so you want to find the prime of it, it's going to be equal to the derivative of g of x function times h prime of g of x normal, okay? So this is our chain rule. So let's implement this. So our hg of x is just going to be called f of x. So f prime of x, right, is equal to, so g prime of x. So that means the derivative of the g function, g of x, which is this. So what is the derivative? Well, if you know how to do the power rule, you multiply the exponent by the coefficient. So 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract 1 from the exponent. The exponent becomes 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we don't, it's basically, you don't need to write any exponent. And then the 7 constant here just becomes 0, so we don't write it. Alright, so we got that first part done. And now, h prime of g of x. So now we find h prime. So h prime is equal to, remember, multiply the exponent by the coefficient. 3 times 1 is 3. X, subtract the exponent by 1, it gives us 2. 3x squared. So we just write that here, but instead of our x, we're going to have our g of x function. So that's going to be 3. Our g of x function is 8x squared plus 7 squared. Alright? So now we have this, and now we can just simplify it to get our answer. Alright? So I'm going to write it down here. Our f prime of x is equal to 16x times 3. 16 times 3 is 48. And then the x stays there. 48x, 8x squared plus 7 squared. And that is how I would write the final answer, simplified. Simply simplified. Alright. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye.